Well, we have a lot of new opportunities for robotics due to a lot of enablers, of course, computing power, memory, cheap memory, and new progress in understanding actually how intelligent systems work. Learning, one of the big challenges, is still open, but a lot of progress has been accomplished. So I think there is a room for a lot of applications that were maybe very far away in only a few years ago to become a reality in the next few years. So I think robotics will and automation will progress a lot in the next years. Well, those technologies, I mean, like computers, personal computers, it's a common thing to say that they will impact society. They will impact society in many ways. One way is, of course, because of automation and robotization of factories will be the issue of jobs. And the novel thing is not is that not only blue collar but also white collar jobs could be now accomplished by intelligent systems, not necessarily physical robots, but algorithm and systems that are able to deal with more cognitive tasks. Another impact is in daily life, because we will have also personal robots in public spaces or at home. We will have also robots in many applications. For example, drones have a very wide field of application, not only delivery and agriculture, but also firefighting and so on. So I think the impact in society will be very strong because it will be a pervasive technology. It's robots, it's a computer with a body and action, and of course the ability to understand more or better. So therefore we will have a real cohabitation between robotics technology and humans. And in the same way that we have smartphones in our pockets today, we will have robots with us. Oh yes, absolutely, we need regulation. Why do we need regulation? For different reasons. One reason is that when you have a technology that has so much impact in society, it will have to be regulated because it will change our habits. For example, that's also very obvious. If you take autonomous cars, today's regulation don't really deal in most countries, except in maybe in the US, with autonomous cars. And I know that, of course, several countries are working on that, and there's international conventions also. So this is one aspect of regulation that is going to necessarily evolve because of the coming of the autonomous cars. A similar aspect is drones. Drones are also coming in, and you need some regulation because you cannot fly drones like that in airspace. Another issue which requires regulation, also, although it's another way, in another aspect, is autonomous weapons. And this is international conventions, and a lot of discussions are ongoing on these issues because autonomous technology enables new things that were not possible in the past. Probably we need also regulations to define the accountability, responsibility when a robot is involved in an accident or whatever. Because the fact that when we say it's an autonomous system, what does this mean? Who carries exactly the responsibility? It's not something that is difficult to solve, but it has to be defined and regulated. Some people say it's the machine which should be accountable. Of course, a machine, in my opinion, cannot be accountable for anything. It's either its owner, operator, user, but not the machine itself. But today the regulations are not clear about this, because they are made for humans and only deal with interactions between humans. And also we need probably regulations because of the social impact. I mentioned jobs. I don't believe that, as some studies say, that jobs will be massively destroyed by robotics or by AI technologies. Of course, some of them will be. Some new jobs will appear, and usually what happens is that the new jobs are not easy to predict. Imagine all the jobs that were the result of inventing the car or the airplane, the airliner. Because of the new habits that it generates, there are a lot of induced jobs that no one has predicted in the past. I think robotics will have the same kind of impact and will produce a lot of new jobs, but of course it's very difficult to predict beforehand. However, since there will be an immediate impact on some sectors that are going to reduce jobs, we need probably some regulation there. And another area where probably we'll need some regulation is about deployment of robots with vulnerable people. By vulnerable people, I mean children, young children, and maybe elderly person who have lost part of their cognitive abilities. And these two kinds of populations are very easily amenable to believe, for example, that an emotion which is displayed by a machine, the robot, is a true emotion, and there will be some bonding and some attachment with a machine, and difficulty for them to distinguish sometimes between a human being which has real emotion and displays real emotions, and a machine that pretend displaying such emotions. So when deployment of robots, personal robots, care robots with children or with elderly is made, probably there should be some ethical review boards that analyze this. And another final issue is about robots imitating living beings, especially, for example, androids. And it's not only about displaying emotions, it's also about displaying behavior and so on, but by really looking like resembling human beings. This raises a question about human identity. When you see a machine which resemble a human being 100%, and of course it's not completely 100%, but the research wants to give this impression, and it's going to push forward to that. Then the border between living being and human being and machine is going to be questioned. Are machines persons? Do they have personal rights? These questions are going to be raised, and of course I have an opinion on that, but this has to be discussed to provide answers that are approved by consensus to decide what we do in these cases.